Thanks everyone for joining. I'm presenting a solution for MegaPrint. MegaPrint supplies large format banners to stadiums, schools, and theaters. They work with venue operators to become a preferred print vendor for them, and they create a virtual renderings for the venues and work with the customers to print the banner images for the selected venues. Currently, they sell in US, Canada, Spain, and Ireland, and they're planning to double their business in next 3 years. Some of the key challenges they have is this sales process is a diverse sales process they have, and also the technologies is not supporting the growth, and also there's some duplicate and inconsistent across the systems. The primary goal of this project is to create a secure and scalable solution and Salesforce platform to support their growth and the to support their growth, and also provide self-service options for the customers to serve them in their preferred language in the Experience Cloud site and mobile. I'll walk you through the system landscape with the key actors interacting with the system, followed by a business process with a supporting data model. We have we have a three Salesforce instances and two Microsoft Dynamics instances. They are regional specific and also sales process diverse. That's what they're saying. So instead of using any of these orgs, I'm planning to decommission this and build a solution using one single Salesforce global Salesforce org. Being said that my org strategy is a single org strategy, as there is no legal data residency requirements, and also they're planning to unify the business process. It'll give the customer 360 view for the business. To support the global user base, we'll enable the multi-language. We'll leverage translation workbench custom labels via email templates. We'll translate the site content and also add language selector on the site. To allow users to transact in their local currencies, we'll enable multi-currency, and we'll use Salesforce reports for operational reports and CRMA for advanced analytics. We have a network drive in the system landscape, so we'll continue to leverage that for storing the images. We'll build a solution using Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, and we'll have a Service Cloud with voice with Amazon Connect. We'll create one Experience Cloud site for the customers, and we'll leverage the Apex Shield product form assembly for lead capturing, and Chargen for payments, and Congo Composer for document generation, and Congo Sign for getting e-signature. We'll have a form assembly on the mobile website. So to capture the leads, we'll continue using website, and the internal users will have a Salesforce mobile app. It'll use OAuth Pixie Flow to connect to Salesforce, and customers will have a custom mobile app. There is offline requirement for the mobile app, so we'll use React Native framework and leverage Salesforce mobile SDK for offline capabilities, and it will use OAuth Pixie Flow to connect to Salesforce. To support end-to-end business processes, we had to integrate Salesforce with other systems in the landscape. For near real-time integrations, we will use ESB. ESB will do a protocol conversion based on the target system, and also it will do error logging and retry mechanism, and maintain the request in the queue when the target systems are down. And for data migration, data archival, and also for batch data synchronization, we'll use a ETL with the bulk API 2.2. This is optimized to handle the large volume of records. Both the integration points will be secured with the mutual TLS, and they use JWT to connect to Salesforce. From Salesforce, when it's making call out, we'll use the name credentials. And also we have introduced an ADW for storing the data for long-term data retention, and also we can leverage this for a CRM analytics. Active Directory is there already in the system landscape. I'm proposing a centralized identity management system, Okta, with for a single sign-on. It will be a SP initiated SAML 2.0 flow. Will enable my domain to support the single sign-on, and we'll use Skim for auto provisioning and deprovisioning users. Some of the risks related to there is a risk we need to develop a complete custom mobile app, so we need to have a separate development team, and also the SAP has a different way of working. They have backlogs of 18 months, I'll discuss how to mitigate this in the towards the end of my presentation. The proposed solutions is catered for both internal and external users. First, internal users, partner sales representative needs access to leads. So I'm giving a sales cloud license. Technicians work with the customer and venue operator to resolve their cases, and so they need a service cloud. They need access to case. So service cloud voice, digital engagement add-on, and service cloud license, digital engagement, and SCV add-ons. The technician manager needs access to this. They oversee the technician, so they need advanced reporting, so service cloud and CRMA. Even sales representative who directly work with the customer, they need access to leads and opportunities, so sales cloud license for them. And country manager also have a sales cloud license for the same reason. They need access to leads and opportunities. Next two personas are external users. So the venue operator, they need a delegated admin access to manage the other users at their account, and also reporting requirements. So I'm proposing a CC plus license for them. For customers, they need access to site to view their orders and raise their cases. So they'll have a customer community license. Quickly on the role hierarchy. So venue operator is an external role with the CC plus. They'll have a role and they report to a PSR, and PSR will report their manager and CEO. These are global roles. And the technicians also will work globally, and they report to the technician manager and they report to CEO. Whereas ESRs are country based, so this branch will be repeated for other countries. So ESR will report to a country manager and they report to a CEO. Now let's move on to the data model. To align with the least privileged access principles, I'm setting OWD for all the objects to private, and we'll extend the access using role hierarchy, sharing rules, and Apex managed sharing rule. For external users, will use the sharing sets. And all relationships are lookups. If it's not mentioned, that will give more flexibility to control the access. The objects in the green are custom, and the blue are managed package objects, and remaining all are standard objects. The dots is representing the LTVs. A lead will be used to capture the prospect customer inquiries, and account represents the venue operators, and also the customer will have two record types. Venues will be owned by PSR, and the customers will be owned by ESR. And I'm using standard CRM objects for sales process, opportunities, quotes, orders, and their line items with the product, price book, and price book entry. And these custom objects related to the print location and print job and job banner creation supports other business process related to the printing. For a standard support process, I'm using a standard case milestone objects with entitlement. And this is one of the key objects I wanted to highlight. This is representing the banners or placeholders available for the each venue. So I'll talk about this during my presentation when it comes to the business process. So some of the now I'm moving on to the business requirements. So, the general pain points the megaprint has is the user onboarding, and it's a lengthy process and error-prone manual process. To automate this, we will use a Okta with Skim for provisioning and deprovisioning users. The terminated users continuing to get access to the system, so we'll have a Skim to deprovision the users from the Salesforce. And also another pain point is related to the deployment scripts. So they are looking for the best practice in the automated deployment. So I'm recommending Kopper DevOps tool for automated deployments, and I'll discuss this during my explaining during environment strategy. Next business process is venue onboarding. Partner sales rep will venue operators will be come as a lead first, and they make a call, and when they are interested, then PSR will convert the lead to an account and create the contact. So when first the contact will be enabled as a delegated admin access, so that to manage the accounts at their account. So first a PSR, after converting, they'll get access to the site. So I already discussed about this. So venue operators, once they are onboarded, they work with the technician to create the placeholders, and also they assist in the banner installation. They refer the clients to Megaprint. Next is by default, when you can have 20 active users by default, and PSR can change the number. So we'll have a custom field to track the maximum number of users at that venue, and we'll have a recurring flow on user to validate how many users are there, active users are there at the contact, and show a validation message if it's more than 20. As part of the onboarding, once venue is onboarded, then we have to assign the primary print location and also the technician. Technician for this, we'll have a quick action on the account, an account to launch a LWC. LWC will show the nearest print locations based on the distance between the venue and also the print location. We'll have a geolocation coordinates, and we can query using the distance function in the SOQL query and show the nearest print locations on the LWC. This will provide a better user experience for the PSR to select the print location. Once they select the print location, then they have to select the technician for the venue. So once the print location is selected, we will query the available print location from this object and show it to the PSR to select the technician. Technicians can work for a multiple print location. So we'll use this object to track user represent the technician. So we'll have a junction object between the user and print location to have that to maintain that many to many relationship. So we already discussed this technician assignment. Once a technician is assigned to the account, then they will create the virtual renderings in the CAD system. So they'll and CAD system, and also they create a placeholder, whatever they create. They work with the menu operator and create renderings in the CAD system. So there we will also have a record here in in this custom object. Once the renderings are created, the PSR and the technician will decide on the different sizes and pricing options. So we'll track all the size and pricing options using a different records for this venue. PSR should be able to view the partner account, view all other partner account, but they can edit only their own. So for this one, we'll have OWT set to private for all objects. So even in the account case, so only they can edit over the records owned by them. And to share all other partner accounts, we'll have a criteria-based sharing rule based on the record type. Because we account holds other record types also, the customer information also, so we'll have a criteria-based sharing rule to grant access. The next business process is the event sales. So now technician created the placeholders for the venue, and I'm assuming the website should have a way to pull that information from the CAD system. So on website we will have the renderings for the venues. Customers can view them, and if they want to more information, they'll have a download option. Before downloading, they should provide their information. Uh, their information before the inquiries was going to distributed email list, and they're losing business with lack of the follow-up. So now we are streamlining using we'll have a farm assembly on the website, and we'll create that as a lead in the Salesforce and assign it to a ESR so that we can follow up on each stage of this lead. So I'm going with the farm assembly because there is a need. There will be 1,000+ leads per day. So we will hit with the web to lead limit. So that's the reason I'm proposing a farm assembly here. We already discussed how the ESRs are organized using a role hierarchy. Now the customers, we have 250K customers, and on average they request for they order banners for the two events, so it will be 500K. These are transactional, so 500K events, and by 3 years it will be double, so it will be 1 million, and also it's transactional, so it will be more than a million. So it quickly grow into LTV. I'll discuss this later. So inquiries and referrals should be assigned to ESR. ESR, if they already have a relationship with Megaprint, we had to assign to the same ESR. Else it will go to a country-based queue. For this, we will have a record flow on the lead to query the existing records on the order records. And if we find any order for the customer, so we'll assign the lead to the same ESR. If not, we'll assign to a country-based queue based on the information that we receive from the lead. The referral should be picked within the 24 hours. If not, we should notify the ESR manager. So for this, we'll have a recurrent trigger flow on the lead with scheduled path to send a notification if the status is not changed, and if it's still with the queue, then we will send a notification. The recurrent trigger flow will send a notification to ESR management to assign manually. Even sales process starts with by sending a email links with a detailed PDFs, and once they open the email, they should be notified to the ESR so that they can follow up on timely basis. We'll have a quick action on the quick action to create a content delivery link for the PDF links, and we will send the quick action will send the email to a lead, and when they open the email, the content delivery will notify the ESR about the email open, and they can follow at that time. To drive the consistency in the sales process, Megaprint is looking for a guided sales process to make it easy for reps at every step. So we'll add a path through the opportunity page for guided selling. It will show the key fields to update in each stage of that sales process. Um, when working with the customer to select appropriate banners, so we had to quickly limit the number of the banner options available for the selected venue. That's the reason I'm going with the custom object. So we'll have a screen flow for the adding the products to the opportunity, and screen flow will the flow will query the products available for that venue and show it the PSR to select those products. Um, so it'll query the only the products available for that venue and show it in the list so that they can restrict they'll be selecting the right products. A repeated customer expects the images from the previous event. So CAD system will create a unique folder for every order. We'll have a Xfile Pro and the Xfile Pro in the system landscape for bringing the files from the network drive. We'll have a record on order page. We have a Xfile Pro. The PSR will open the previous orders, and on the Xfile Pro component, they'll see the previous images from the previous event. Next business process is the orders. We have two on-premise SAP systems, and currently they are the source of truth for the accounts and also to the ERP data. Now we are migrating the data account data to a Salesforce, and Salesforce will become source of truth. And also in SAP there are duplicate and data inconsistency. So let's move on to the data migration quickly. So we'll extract the data from the SAP, Microsoft, Salesforce, Microsoft Dynamics, and SAP using ETL to a staging DB. We'll work with the data stewards to define the matching rules and duplicate rules and apply those rules on this extracted records to get the golden copy records. After that, we will do a object mapping, field mapping, and also group by the parent record to avoid any other issues during the migration. We'll use a bulk API 2.0 to migrate the data to Salesforce, and we'll drive with the sample data in the partial copy sandbox and validate. If it's good, then we'll load the full data into the full copy sandbox, and we'll document the steps to follow for the production data migration, and also for the in the future whenever we acquire new systems. And the old data which is not required to Salesforce will be directly migrated to data warehouse. To accelerate the deployment data migration, we will defer sharing calculations and also turn off automations like sending emails to the customer. And we'll prepare the data in a valid format, so we can bypass the validation for the migration user also. So this will increase the data migration. Uh, So, and once the data migration is done, and we will run the sharing calculations and also turn on the automations if we turned off before migration. And the exchange rates are maintained in the SAP, and on a monthly basis we have to update to Salesforce. So we'll use the same ETL for the batch designation, extract the exchange rates from SAP, and update to the update to Salesforce. Um, So customers are required to put 20% down, a deposit down before proceeding the image creation. So they'll use the credit card for the payment. So we'll on order we'll create a charge and order with uh, de- uh, the deposit down with 20%, and they can use charge and for the payment. It's a PCA compliant. And also they can save the credit card information for the future payments, and sensitive card information will not be stored in Salesforce. Only tokenized information will be saved to their account. And we can even hide using a field level security, that even tokenized information. For a premium customer, the 20% deposit can be waived if they don't have any outstanding invoices greater than 30 days. We'll have a recurring flow on the order to check whether is there any pending payments from the premium customer for the 30 days, greater than 30 days. If not, then we will proceed for the banner creation. Only the ESR management can update the premium status. So FLS and the status field should grant edit access to the only the management, so only they can edit that field. Each CRM instance is connected to say SAP to submit the orders, and they have a custom service to convert to a WAPI format. Now we have a ESB in place, and ESB will transform the payload as per the target system, in this case SAP WAPI format. Appropriate SAP system should be notified, and that routing logic will be handled by ESP. It will select from those two SAP CRM systems. So we'll configure an ESP. ESP will route the request to the right SAP. Uh, we had to send the quantities, banner type, sold, order details, and other information to the SAP. It will be an integration here, remote process invocation, fire and forget from Salesforce to SAP via ESP. We'll have a record trigger flow on the order to publish a platform event. ESP will subscribe to the platform event and query for these details, and send it to SAP. SAP has a monthly scheduled downtime and of 24 to 72 hours, and also there will be unplanned outages. They should not cause disruptions to the order process. So we'll have ESP to orchestrate the request, and also it has a capability to store the requests in the queue when the SAP systems are down, and it will process once the SAP systems or any other target systems are back online. The system should route close deals to the print location for a banner creation. So once the deposit is collected down, it will create a banner. We'll have a record trigger flow on the order to create a banner creation record and assign it to a print location. And this record will be assigned to a technician for creating banners in CAD system. Next. So ESR should have access to the other teams data. Other should not have access to other teams data, but they can access within the local team. So the roles are grouped by as per the role hierarchy. They have a separate roles on the country basis. So we can use a owner-based sharing rule to grant access to the records of their records owned by other team members in the same role. And we set to OWT to private, so they can access only they cannot access records from other teams. The customers can use their existing Salesforce credentials, and also they would like to use LinkedIn and Google for a desktop or mobile login. So they can continue using standard Salesforce login, and for a social sign-on using LinkedIn and Google, we'll create auth providers and registration handlers for LinkedIn and Google, and add the options on the login page for Experience Cloud site, and we'll leverage OIDC flow to allow them to log in using using the LinkedIn and Google. For a mobile application, it should not prompt user to authenticate repeatedly. So we use OAuth Flow to connect to Salesforce, and it will use a refresh token to renew the session when the access tokens are expired. The next business process is a banner image creation. Technicians will create a banner images in the CAD system before the details about the images about this banners was communicated through emails. The lots of details the print technician was entering manually in the CAD system. Now we have integration in place. So we'll have a remote processing location fire and forget from Salesforce to CAD via ESP. Again, it will be a recurrent trigger flow will publish a platform event, and ESP will subscribe and send the details to the CAD system. CAD system has a network drive. It will create a unique folder for every order, and it will have a web-based UI for the customers to upload the images. But in our case, we have a Xfile Pro, so we'll have Xfile Pro component on the order record for the customers to upload the picture, upload their images to that order. So once the image is uploaded, they had to do a object image mapping for the placeholder and also provide the cropping instructions for the technician. So we'll have a LWC and the order object to show all the placeholders or the order line items what they purchased for that event. And customers will have option to update the URL of that URL of the image for each placeholder, and also cropping instructions will store all those records against this OLI, order line item. Once the technician has right combination of details, and they will send that to customers to get the signature from them. So a technician will have a quick action on the order to launch a Congo Composer to generate the document using the banners, images, and the cropping instructions. It will generate the document from all these objects, and same Congo sign will be used to get the electronic signature from the customer. When the deal is signed and deposit is obligated, then it will proceed for the print job fulfillment. We'll have a recurrent trigger flow again, and once the sign is signed, it will be updated on the order, and we'll have recurrent trigger flow to update the opportunity status to closed one, and we should log the edits after that. So we'll have validation rule to restrict any edits after the deal is closed. And also this will same category flow will create a print job and assign to a print location for the selected venue, whatever the primary print location, we will assign the print job to the same print location. Next business process is banner printing. We should instruct the CAD system to proceed with the printing, and it has a capability. It has a API to listen to that instructions, and also it can post the status message back to any of the system. So in this will be a remote processing location fire and forget from Salesforce to CAD system via ESP. We'll have a RTF and print job to publish the details instructions to the CAD system, and CAD system will do a remote call in from CAD system to Salesforce to update the status of the print jobs. Each print location has a daily capacity, and system should indicate whether the submitted job will be completed before the agreed ship date, and the print location will print the jobs in the order they receive. So we'll have a scheduled apex to calculate the required time to complete based on their capacity and the request in the queue before this current job, and update the status on the print job location. Print job. So the mega print operates in a time sensitive business, and the system should not should not be a reason for the missing the promised delivery time. So we will have a proper testing strategy where we'll do a static code analysis, PR reviews by technical leads, and we'll run Apex test runs before promoting any changes to higher environment to make sure that quality code is promoted. And we'll have automated regression testing running in all the environments to make sure that the deployments is not breaking the existing functionality. Technicians can take help from the other print location to finish the job on time if it's missing deadline based on the previous calculations. Then the technician will create another print job location to assign to a different print location. I considered updating the lookup field to a different location, but junction object will give you more flexibility to add other attributes like what's the reason, a reason and status and other fields also. A technician should be able to access the view all orders, print jobs and issues, but they can edit only the records assigned to their print location. We will give view all permission of on the orders and the jobs and print jobs and issues. And for edit access, we leverage managed package managed Apex managed sharing to grant edit access to the orders and print jobs and issues assigned to the print location. Customers should be able to see their own records of the same set of records. So we'll leverage sharing set to isolate their restrict their access to only to their account. So where order.account equals to user.account, so that criteria will restrict them to access only the records from their own account. Similarly for the print job and issues. So venue operators also has the similar requirement. They should see all the orders and print jobs assigned to their venue. And so we'll leverage the similar sharing set where we'll maintain the lookup of the vendor venue and all these objects and use sharing set to grant access. They often manage multiple locations, so they need to see the related records from the related venues also. For this, we'll create a account-to-account relationship between these two venues and use account relationship sharing rules to grant access to their related account records. Technician manager review the print request and discuss this danger of missing deadlines, and they need a list every day. So we are updating the status in the previous scheduled job. So we'll create a report based on that field, and technician manager can subscribe to that report, and they'll get a list every day. Next business process is the banner installation. Venue operator and customer coordinate the banner installation in the mobile devices. They're looking for caching the placeholder images. So this is the reason I'm choosing a custom mobile app using mobile SDK to leverage the smart store option to cache the images, and it will be easy to access. Access fast. Menu operators manages workloads based on the banners delivered in the upcoming event. So we'll have a report on this print jobs with the finished date, so they can see the print jobs so banners what they can expect in the future and plan accordingly. So as part of the panel setup, if they panel installation, if they have any issues, they can reach out. Venue operator or customer can reach out to the technician with the multiple channels: email, phone, text, and chat. So for email, we'll have an email to case option, and for calls, service cloud voice, and chat, text and chat, we'll use a digital engagement. We'll assign these permissions to technician. The customer and venue operator can reach technician through any of these channels. Megaprint would like to centralize this support process. However, they want to continue this email as a communication support channel in future also. We'll keep this email to case option for them. During the event setup, if it's a time sensitive, and Megaprint is committed to respond within 1 hour time. If it succeeds, we have to notify the ESR representative. We'll create an entitlement process and assign to that print installation for that customer. We'll have milestone action with 1 hour response time, and we'll have so 1 hour response time with the milestone, and the milestone action, we will have a trigger flow to send a push notification. We'll create the notification in the notification builder and use that in the violation action of that milestone. Technician, customer, vendor, venue operator will collaborate in the resolving the issue. For that, we will enable chatter for the collaboration. Technician manager would like to say issue trends by print location and issue type. For the trend reports, we will leverage a CRM analytics. A PSR would like view all customer issues and improve the onboarding effort. So to view all customer issues, I'm proposing to have view all access on the cases for the PSRs. And also they would like to review, uh, run a report on the historical issues to avoid the rework for the technician. And in Microsoft Dynamics, the issues are categorized differently. For that, we will work with the data stewards to standardize the process and use ETL for transforming to a unified format. And for this trend analysis, we will again use CRMA. CRMA. It's important it's a original partner sales representative and ESRs and technicians may not no longer maybe they are not employees of Megaprint now. When to allow the records creation with inactive users, we have to set a different permission set for the migration user. We will have a set permission set audit fields and also create and update records with inactive users. This permission will give migration user to create records with inactive users. Next business process is expansion. The PSRs is prioritizing the venue growth based on the referrals by the venue operator and how many referrals are closed. So they would like to see the trend, how many referrals are converted to a deal. For the past 5 years, we pa- for the past 5 years. So we will archive the data, the deals data, since it's LDB, we'll archive to data warehouse. So we'll use CRMA to do the any trending reports. And also TSR manager would like to determine the next strategic 5 countries, and they purchased event trend data and venues. So and also demographic information. We load all this data to a CRMA, and we will use a predictive analytics to determine the next 5 strategic countries based on this venues data, trend, event data, and also the demographics. SAP is having a 18 months backlog in the pipeline for them to work, and I think Megaprint is looking for a recommendation to increase the SAP system SAP team's velocity. So this is the risk if you have 18 months backlog, and also they will not start working until we get a final requirements and also sign off uh, before any development. So we had to involve the governance team to align the SAP team as per the current initiative, and they had to promote. We had to promote them to adapt agile development methodologies with the shorter iterations, and SAP side. Product owner can prioritize the features, and also it'll be flexible for to accommodate the agile will is flexible to adapt to the evolving changes. So SAP has a frequent downtimes, and that they should not impact their acquisition strategy. So we'll have a release manager to plan the data migration and other activities properly, and also the downtime will be planned in off peak times and also the over the weekends. And in case if it's unexpected downtime, so we have a ESP to manage the request in the queue and process them later. So this is not we will mitigate this risk by introducing a ESP here and also with the proper planning. Next, the last requirement here is the often the production issues fixed in the production is overwritten by the subsequent deployments. They are looking for the best practices here. So I discourage to make any changes directly in the higher environment or in production. If admin makes any changes in the production, it should be back promoted to the all the lower environments and coming to the branches. I for this one, I'll recommend to have Copado with a DevOps strategy. So we'll have this is my environment strategy. So developers will make changes in the developer sandbox and will be promoted to QA. Before promoting, we'll do a static code analysis. We'll run Apex PR review will be done by the technical lead, and we'll run the Apex test classes before promoting to QA. And QA team will do a functional testing, and also will do automated regression testings here. And once we get a sign off, it will be promoted to UAT, and business users will do acceptance testing, and also will make sure that the deployment is not breaking the existing functionality by running automated regression testing. And the changes will be promoted to prod. And if there are any issues, we'll have a separate hotfix branch that will fix the change, will fix in the hotfix branch and deploy back to the production. For this, I'm proposing a Copado. Copado uh, will have a pipeline. We'll build a pipeline in the Copado to align with our environment strategy. Copado will maintain a environment specific branch. For each environment will maintain a branch. Developers will make changes in the developer sandbox and commit the changes to the user story in Copado. In Copado, we'll create the different stories, and the Copado user interface, they'll select all the metadata, whatever they require for that user story. Copado will automatically create a feature branch for that user story and pull the data from the developer sandbox and merge to a dev branch to represent the current state of the dev. So when the user promotes the user story to the next environment, higher environment, in this case QA, the Kopper automatically create a promotional branch out of this target system, so target branch. So in this case QA, Kopper will create a promotional branch from the QA, and it will merge the changes from the feature branch to the promotional branch. This is when it will identify the conflicts, and it will show the if it finds any conflicts, and it will show the developers to fix the conflicts. And then do a static code analysis, and we can enforce the we can enforce the PR process here. Technical leads will review. Once it's approved, then we'll run the will Copado will deploy the changes to the QA environment by running all the Apex tests. Once the deployment is successful, that's when it'll merge the code to the QA branch. The promotional branch will be merged to a QA branch. So now QA branch is representing the current state of the QA environment. The similar process will be followed for UAT and production. If there are any issues with the hotfix, if there are any issues with the production, then we'll have a hotfix. So we'll have a separate pipeline for a hotfix. So the developer will make a changes in the hotfix branch, and when they promote the story, it'll pull the changes from the hotfix branch to the feature branch, and the same process. It'll create a promotional branch from the main, and it'll be merged to deployed and then merged to the main branch. And also, once changes are done, Copado also has the capability to back promote all the changes to the previous environment. So this will make sure that whatever the changes we did in the hotfix, it will be promoted back to the all the environments. Quickly on the LDV, we have placeholders there. We have 10 banners, 10 million banners. This is representing the order line item, and it will be 20 million. Say it will become 20 millions, and leads also we are expecting 1,000 plus per day. So it will be 365,000 in a year, and it will become more than a million in next 3 years. So as a short-term mitigation, we will we'll write as selective queries on the standard index fields, and we'll request Salesforce to create a custom index fields for the business critical fields, and also skinny tables for the for running the reports and for improving the performance of the reports. And also, once we work with business and decide on when to archive this data off platform to a data warehouse. Quickly on the identity flow. So I'm explaining OIDC flow with Vexi. So mobile app, how mobile users will be connecting to Salesforce using OIDC using mobile app. Mobile app will generate a code challenger and raise a request, send the request or the request to the try to access the resources from the relaying party or Salesforce in this case. It will redirect them for auth request, and the user will select Google or LinkedIn in our case. So then it will be redirected to the OIDC, and the user will log into the Google or LinkedIn. and provide the consent, and the OIDC will send the auth code to the mobile, and the auth code will be forwarded to Salesforce, and Salesforce will make a request to auth token, access token to OIDC, and once the access token is received by the Salesforce, it ensures that it identifies that there is a valid user, and then it will return the auth code to the mobile app. And the mobile app will then send the auth code and client ID and code verifier to the Salesforce, and Salesforce will verify the code challenger with the code verifier. And if it both are matching, then it will return the access token. Using that access token, mobile app will make a call to the resources. That concludes my presentation. I'm ready to take questions.
Okay, Surendra, we want to start off with the org strategy. Could you give us an outline on how you came to this solution and give a bit more detail about how you're getting to that final state?
The question is around this, why I choose a singular or the Salesforce instance.
Yep. It's why you're coming towards the single org and how you're getting there.
So singular, because they currently the regional process has a different sales process that's not allowing them to grow in other markets. So they are planning to unify the business process. So we'll go with the single org with the single sales process.
Okay, and you're retiring 3 Salesforce orgs and a Dynamics org. Your solution was to do a data load with a cleansing process. Yet, if you look at the requirements for improving areas such as the SAP teams flow through, how are you managing this? You've got 50 countries. How are you managing it?
We have 4 countries basically. They have 4 countries with these
Sorry,
systems.
yeah.
Four countries with this system. We So SAP has a 18 months backlog, but that's why we had to involve governance team to align with our initiative, with this initiative to accommodate the changes. So governance team will work with the SAP team, and for the data migration, we will have a two-staged approach where we will have one date. We'll extract the data for that specific date and cleanse and uh, do a cleaning and other activities parallelly when they're making this when we are building solution in Salesforce. And once everything is ready, we'll load that records till that date, and the delta load will be in the second phase. So using 2 phases, we can have a data migration planned, and SAP side risk will be mitigated by the governance team.
Okay. So are you planning to do 4 countries all at the same time and move them in there? How are you actually planning to do this, and how do you manage the system of record?
Yeah, it's a big bang approach. So one time, single time, we are migrating to a the single org for all the regions.
Is that your recommendation?
Correct.
Okay, can you explain the movement of the system of record between SAP and Salesforce and how you would adopt the new countries as they come in?
So now going forward, first when we extract the data from all the systems, and we'll do a cleansing and create a golden copy record. From there onwards, the Salesforce will become source of truth for the account data. So the data will be synced every time whenever there is a changes in Salesforce for the account data. It will be synced to SAP. When we onboard the new countries, that directly the account data will be so created in Salesforce, and they will be synced to SAP. So source of truth is Salesforce.
How about in terms of orders and order fulfillment?
Sorry, can you repeat? I could.
How about in terms of order fulfillment? How is Salesforce still the system of record?
No, only for accounts, it's Salesforce is system of record. For orders, everything will be in SAP.
Ah, right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Under the orders part, section 9, you've got a fire and forget. with SAP. Could you explain what the actual mechanism that's happening there, and how are you ensuring that you're not losing any of these orders in the process?
So we'll have a recur trigger flow to publish a platform event. A platform event will be published, and ESB will subscribe to the platform event, and it will query for the additional information. I think you're referring to this point. So it will query for the additional information, what are the details, order details, total and amount, deposits, everything from the different objects. And it will send to a SAP. If we have a SAP downtime, so if that is down, if for any reason, if SAP is down, so ESB will maintain that all the requests in the queue, and it will process when the SAP is online.
So, what was your thinking coming into platform events?
It's asynchronous integration, so we are decoupling the dependency of the external system availability. So Salesforce can still send that in, publish the event, and whenever the target system is ready, that time it will process asynchronously.
Is that your only option?
Mm, for syncing the data, we can have a chain data capture also. We can have a, but that will sync every time. It'll run every time whenever the order changes happen on the order record. But in this case, we have conditionally only when it is closed we had to send, and also the data. I think deposit data is from different custom objects. So in this case, I think platform event is more suitable. So USB will listen to the event and query the required information and send it to SAP.
How are you securing that integration? And I don't mean in terms of transport security, I mean ensuring success.
So we are using a mutual TLS between these two systems to secure the data transfer, and they use JWT to connect. For the success message, I think the we had to have a log if there is a failures, and we had to notify it to Salesforce. We had to do the error logging if there are
What if
any failures.
what if the ESP is down?
Sorry.
What if the ESP is down?
So yeah, platform event will have a replay ID, and it'll store the platform events for 72 hours. And when the ESP is back, then it can use the replay ID to process the request from the time it failed, from the last successful request. From there, it can resume back the remaining integration process.
And if you were to go over 72 hours?
So it's more than 72 hours.
Mhm.
Um, if there is a need for more than 72 hours, maybe we had to persist that. We had to log um, no, this one. We had to update the status of the orders, whether it's synced or not, back when it is synced. If it's not synced, we should have some kind of automation to run and republish that those orders to reprocess.
Okay.
Is
I
that
think some of
answer
the
your
other,
question?
I think we'll move on. I think some of the other judges have a couple of more questions around a similar topic. If we take a step back towards sort of change management and governance.
Sure.
First of all, are you going greenfield or brownfield?
Greenfield.
Greenfield. Okay, can you talk a bit more why you chose greenfield?
So the existing Salesforce orgs is they're saying it's regional specific, and also the sales process is diverse. So I'm thinking they have their own process to have to instead of enhancing the existing Salesforce, we can go with the clean org. So that will give more flexibility to maintain the clean. I'm assuming based on the scenario, I'm assuming that there will be a technical debt in the Salesforce orgs also. We will do a
One of
org
the
assessment, but based on the description, I'm assuming that it's not supporting the demand.
what are the disadvantages and advantages of both options?
Uh, if you go with a brand new org, it will be very clean. We can start. We can have the control from the beginning. We can adapt all the best practices frameworks, everything we can implement because it's a new org. If you go with the existing one, we had to modify, we refactor a lot of code. So that's a disadvantage with the brownfield.
Okay, but are there any advantages to the brownfield?
Maybe code reusability, if there are any functionalities working as expected, so maybe we can reuse that functionality, so that will increase the time to deliver the project.
Right. Let's talk about your governance model. How do you plan to, what's your plan in terms of how you're going to set up this project to deliver all of this?
So the executive sponsors as steering committee will set the vision for this project, what the objective is. So they are planning to unify the business processes and other things. So the vision will be set by the executive team, and the COE team will execute the vision by enforcing the best practices and the innovations. And they involve all the stakeholders from from all the teams, mobile development and SAP side, and also the Okta, all the work stream. They'll involve all the stakeholders in the COE and get the sign off from them. Then document all the decisions at the document all the decisions, and keep all all the stakeholders aligned to the goal of this project.
What
Are
work
you
streams would you have working on the project and why?
Sorry.
What work streams would you have working on the project and why? How
So
would you
we have a
organize the work?
we have a Salesforce development team. Obviously, the mobile app development is a custom mobile app, and we'll have a ESP team, and for a data, we'll have a data architect. So to set the standards, and for the integration, we'll have a separate team. Mm, and also for the project management, we need a scrum masters and project managers to coordinate between all these teams, all these work streams. And
Any
we
other
should have a
streams?
release manager, change control board to approve any changes, and the release manager to schedule publish the release calendar, so that all the team members should be aligned, all the work streams should be aligned to that calendar, release calendar.
so it's very common that cutover and management between streams can be quite complex in projects. So I think what Hermione's after is how you've got this large amount of data coming in, you've got multiple teams, and what are you doing to set this up for success? One of the requirements here is to make sure that you accelerate SAP's team's delivery. What are you doing to introduce to this beyond just saying use an agile approach that will accelerate their success and make sure that you deliver this greenfield solution? How are you structuring it? What's new for them?
So we had to involve the SAP team from the beginning of from in every discussion, and set the expectations of what kind of changes or integration needs we have in this project, so that they'll plan the resource allocation accordingly.
I'm okay. I'm not sure it's. Do you feel that is answering the requirement to speed up the SAP team? Is there something more you can do?
Mm, Adding additional resources might be another option to accelerate the development if they have lots of backlog. Working with the consultants on this initiative for the SAP needs.
Okay. Let's go away from governance for a moment.
I have actually I have one question on governance. May I?
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, sure. So you are decommissioning 3 Salesforce org and 2 MS Dynamic org. I want to know that what would be your strategy from governance perspective to ensure the smooth transition to the new greenfield Salesforce org that you are proposing? Which entity from your governance will make sure that overall transition goes smooth?
The COE team will comprise of all the um, all the stakeholders from business and technical. They will decide on they will decide on at what time we had to decommission all these applications and when the new system will be available on those timelines. So a COA team will make sure that the planning is done.
So you're saying that CIO team will communicate to end users, they will drive all this particular strategy?
We should communicate to the end users also about this change, and we had to provide training for
Y-
them to make it successful.
Yeah, but who? Like CIO team is quite broader term, right? Do you have any specific role in CIO team, or will it be done by business or?
Yeah, from change management side, we will choose the pilot users, change champions. We'll train them, and they will train the other users in the system, and they explain the benefits of using the new system, so that will become successful. The adaptability will be more if you involve the business, the users who is using a system more.
Okay, I
Other
think Matt, you are
roles do you
on.
need to, what other roles do you foresee that you will need on this? You're rolling this out to all the geographies at once, for example.
Yeah.
And how will the other roles be involved?
Um, I already talked about the change control board, uh, change control board and release managers to roll out. Mm, we should have a ARB to review all the changes, all the solution, approve the solutions and also promote the best practices. And
Consider adding some structure to it. Hermione is asking you, with all the different stakeholders, how you're going to organize it. So yes, you're going to have a board for change management. How is that going to support the project, and what's
we'll have a
particularly special?
okay, we'll have a project management office to coordinate between the business and technical people, and also all the communications will go from the executive team.
All right, let's jump into some more specific Q&A. So I just want to do a concept check with you. You use email to case in a few areas. What are the limits that you need to consider, and will your solution scale for those? I think you had
So
two suggestions for using email to case.
sure, there are 5,000 limits per day, but that's one of the channel they reach out to the say technician to if there are any issues. So I based on my calculations, I think they will that's enough that's a daily limit 5,000 we have, and there are other channels also they will reach out. So we have 5,000 limits, so I think that's well within the limits for this business.
The you mentioned you're using entitlements, or sorry, milestones, but are you using entitlements as part of that model? And are there
Correct.
any license considerations you need to make sure you've taken care of?
So yeah, for the entitlements, it'll be assigned. The cases will be assigned to technician. For technician license, I'm giving Sales Cloud license. So with Sales Cloud license, they'll have entitlements, access to entitlements.
Do Sales Cloud have access to milestones?
No, that's a support related object. So we need Service Cloud license for using the entitlements and milestones.
Okay, just for clarity, so that I'm not mixing things up. You've got sales service, so that would be the technicians using the Service Cloud license, correct? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying. We had some questions around multi-language. What's the motivation, and are there any considerations you might have around that?
So they're doing business in multiple countries. So US, Canada, Spain, and Ireland. So we need to support the multi-language for the users inside Salesforce and also on the Experience Cloud sites to uh, uh, view the website on their preferred language.
Okay. Let me see. I think that's it. Oh, I've got some specifics around authentication. Has any of the other judges got any functional questions they'd like to
Yeah,
ask?
I have a question regarding email to case. Since you are utilizing email to case, what is your security mechanism you have implemented in order to make sure there are no unnecessary spam coming as part of email to case?
Um, so from the website, if they're clicking on the email to case, so we will enable reCAPTCHA implementation to make sure that the spam emails are not coming inside the
But
in,
email to case normally I will do it from a email, right? Not from a website, email
yeah.
client. So how we will ensure about the security, and does it support any kind of additional security like TLS or any certificates?
I'm not sure. I have to check that.
Okay.
Okay. In the OAuth flow, you show the OAuth diagram, but you also are using a certain authentication flow for your integrations. JWT, I think you
Yeah,
mark it.
here for these
Can,
indications. Yes.
can you expand on how that flow works, please?
So this is a server-to-server integration. So uh, ESP will create a JWT token with the issuer ID, client ID, and the user, and the claims, whatever the scope, whatever is required for the scope for the ESP, and it will certify that sign this JWT token. In the header, there will be two parts. One is header and the claims, and it concatenates both the header and claims with a dot and convert that to a base 64 and sign and then send to the Salesforce. This is the most secured way because we will have a certificate configured on the Salesforce side connected app. It will verify the signature. If it verifies, then it will grant access to access token. It's just one call from ESP to Salesforce to get the access token.
Okay. In
So,
your Okta flow, sorry, we got a follow-up question.
no, please go ahead.
In your Okta flow, you're going Active Directory, Okta, Salesforce using SCIM. Okay, so what does that really mean? What's actually happening there? What's Okta doing?
So SCIM is for provisioning and deprovisioning, but the SP initiated flow, the users when the Salesforce users try to log into Salesforce and they'll be redirected to Okta to authenticate, and Okta will verify their credentials yeah, that's stored in the Active Directory, and it will send a SAML assertion to Salesforce. This is the SAML 2.0 flow, SP initiated flow. The scheme is for provisioning and deprovisioning. Whenever the user is removed or added to the Active Directory, Okta will set up that users inside Salesforce.
Okay, and when you get that SAML assert, what actually happens in Salesforce the first time they log in?
So it'll verify the SAML assertion with the certificate. Basically, this Okta will also sign the SAML assertion with the certificate, and we will have a certificate configured in our SSO settings, and it will use that certificate to verify the incoming assertion. If it validates, then it will allow them to redirect them to the actual endpoint. If it is a deep link, it will go to will have a release state in that, and the user will be directed to that specific page. Else, it will go to the home page.
Okay, no more questions on that for now.
I have one follow-up on that one. how exactly your Okta will know, like from which particular user attribute you will know that this is a relevant user from Active Directory.
A federation identifier.
Okay. In that situation, I have another follow-up question. So, as part of your data migration, you are decommissioning 5 different systems, right? At
Yeah.
which particular point you will load them into Active Directory or Salesforce, and you will enable this federation ID.
So users should have a unique ID from their organization, either email or any other employee ID. That will be used as a federation identifier. If they are in multiple systems, we will update only one record in the Active Directory. And also in Salesforce, also the federation identifier is unique.
No, my question is these particular all users, right? When you will go live, you will be
Okay.
loading users from all these 5 systems into Salesforce, right?
Yeah.
These users are loaded. At which particular point you will populate the federation ID so they can log into your Salesforce or from Okta using Okta. You
At
don't
what time the
log,
federation ID will be populated?
yeah, at which exact point it will be populated. So they unnecessary, they don't log in before your go live.
Uh, we can have a JIT provisioning, maybe JIT provisioning. So when they try to log, we will have access only on that day. So when we receive a SAML session, we can have a JIT provisioning. In that controller class, we will receive the federation identifier, and then based on the email address and the federation identifier, we can update the federation identifier.
Do you really need to do all that since you have Okta and still you want to propose JIT based provisioning?
Mhm. No, let me take that back. And so on the go live date, we can update the federation identifier so that if the user try to log in before that, they will not be able to log in.
Okay.
A question. Let's go to your data migration.
Data migration.
All right. Can you explain one more time how you're going about your data migration?
So we will query the data from Salesforce and Dynamics and SAP, and we will use a ETL to extract the data and store it in a staging DB. And ETL data stewards will define the rules, and ETL will do the form of standardization and deduplication rules. It will apply and create a golden copy record, and then we will use that. We'll store that golden copy records in the DB, separate DB, DB tables, and do a mapping. We'll do a object mapping and also the field mapping, then use a bulk API to migrate the data to sandboxes or production.
How are you fulfilling requirements in orders 1 and 2 with this approach? Section
So
orders 1 and 2.
yeah, so for there is a deduplication also. So that's data stewards will define the rules. When we apply the rules, I think we have to deduplicate the records and update the SAP records also back with the survivor ID, and then this golden copy record will be promoted. So as per the requirement, the data inconsistency will be managed by the standardization or cleansing, and deduplication will handle the duplicate data, removing the duplicate data. And going forward in Salesforce, we can enable the matching rules and duplicate rules so that it will not allow any duplicate record creation in Salesforce.
So you're also writing back into SAP the golden record, or
The
how
ID, the reference. Yeah.
the reference?
The ID, whatever the ID, external ID that we use to connect to Sales or SAP, that ID reference from the golden record, we will update that on the SAP.
So we're still going to have the duplicate records in SAP.
So, right, I think Correct. The systems are they're in two say, SAP systems. If it is within the system, maybe we can merge the records and keep one copy in SAP, but it's in two systems. If it's duplicates within one system, we will merge and merge the records from SAP also and update it back the golden copy here.
Okay, so what's the altogether, like, what are you doing in terms of ingesting the data and then updating it back to each system?
So to make sure that we'll have a single copy in all the systems, a single source of truth in all the systems, and any updates will be made to the updates made to the correct record in all the systems whenever we do an integration.
And how will you know that which copy of the record is the same across all the systems?
So we will have an external ID that's a unique ID we'll maintain in all the systems for any updates. We'll do an upset in Salesforce using that ID, and we'll use that ID to write back to any other systems also.
What system gives that source ID? What system's responsible for giving that external ID?
Uh, so for orders, yeah, I think all the data, the order data and accounts data also going forward will be generated from Salesforce. So Salesforce can send that as a send that external ID to SAP. So Salesforce is responsible to generate that external ID and share it with other systems.
So what happens if I create an account in SAP or the equivalent of that?
Create a record inside SAP.
Yes.
So we should maintain that logic in SAP also to make that as a unique field, the external ID. That way, we will not allow the duplicate records with the same ID. In SAP, also will maintain single record with that external ID.
But how does that record that I just created in SAP get that external ID?
If we need the data inside Salesforce, we can sync the SAP data to Salesforce, and Salesforce will create external ID and return back to SAP the ID for the newly created record.
All right, and how would that integration work?
It'll be a remote call-in from SAP. Whenever there is a new records created, SAP will make a call into the ESP. ESP will make a call to the Salesforce, and in Salesforce will create a record and return the response, and the response will be forwarded back to SAP. SAP will update that ID, the external ID.
All right, thank you. No further questions on this.
Point number 3 in your pain points, right? You are proposing Copado for your DevOps. Copado is being a Salesforce specific solution where you're already having SAP and other stuff, right?
Yeah.
So how are you managing all that?
So it's a one-time setup. We just have to set up the pipeline configuration. Then the branch, they already have a error-prone manual deployment scripts. So to avoid this manual intervention, so user will promote the changes, commit the changes to the user story. The branching strategy.
No. My question is not that. My question is, I can understand what Copado does, but we already have other technologies, right? We have mobile app development, SAP, everything. How
Mhm.
Copado will address this particular concern from other technology perspective? I can understand it can
Okay.
address, yeah.
Mhm. So even for other technologies, they had to follow the similar kind of environment strategy where they maintain the code in the Git repository and work on their development environment and make the change, merge the changes to the higher environment, uh, and resolve the conflicts if there are any overrides is happening. They should maintain the version control system for their specific development.
So their Copado will not be helpful to other technologies, right?
I don't think so.
Okay. Would you like to propose anything, or you still want to go with Copado?
For Salesforce, I'm still continuing with recommending to use a Propado. For others, since we have a Git already, we can have a similar branching strategy for them, and they can merge the changes using Git commands.
Okay.
All right. I think I covered the majority of the questions I would like to dig into. Yeah, no more questions from me.
Can you take me to your licenses then?
Sure.
What's the rationale for providing digital engagement to technicians? I can understand that there is a text requirement and chat requirement. For chat purpose, do you need digital engagement?
Um, Either digital engagement or we had to go with App Exchange product for that. So since they have a Service Cloud license, I'm going with the digital engagement. If not, then we can use for the SMS and chats. We can use um, Twilio or SMS Magic, the App Exchange products. For a chat, when I said text SMS, I thought, but chat maybe I'm thinking it's a different channel.
Okay, so for chat, you think D would be required.
Um, Messaging in app and web, I think they still can use without digital engagement. So in that
Okay,
case, we should go with for SMS, we should go with an app exchange product, and for a chat, we should use messaging for in app and web.
okay.
So staying on the licenses, can you talk why you decided to give CC plus licenses to the venue operators and specifically all of them?
Yeah, only I think I'll change here. So CC plus only for the primary contact when they first onboard, they'll be the admins. And also it's saying vendor operator needs a report on the viewing the print jobs. So I'm granting access to the report. If it is only admin, then only admin will have CC plus license. Others will still can go with the CC license.
Uh, so what is the reporting requirement exactly for the venue operators?
They plan the work 1 week before, and they want to see the upcoming banners that are delivered to their venue. For that, I'm creating a report with the print jobs and sharing with them.
Is the report if the report's the only requirement, is does this functionality actually require a report?
Mm, no, I think we can share the print jobs that are coming for their location. We can share the list and list view, and uh, we can share the print jobs in a list view. They can have filters coming in future on the list view, and still CC plus only for the primary contact and the CC login for other users.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks.
Can you take me to venue onboarding? Point number 3.
Yeah, sure. Yes.
So when onboarding a new venue, PSR should be able to create a venue admin, right?
Yeah.
How they would be creating this particular user? You want them to create contact, enable user,
Yeah.
and then
First,
provide.
right. So first they create an account for the venue operator and create an account and enable that account as a portal user. That's how they set up the admin accounts and they grant a delegated admin permission for that of the newly created user.
But don't you think it would be from user experience? I'm a partner sales rep.
Yeah.
You are allowing them to do kind of an admin job. Can't this be simplified?
So as part of the conversion, when they convert the lead, it will create a delegated account and contact also. On the
Yeah.
contact, they just had to update. I think a few clicks. They just had to enable that as a user, and all the fields will be populated. Only the additional permission they had to assign to the newly created user.
In the next step number 4, there is a
Mhm.
requirement that if there are 20 active users, you can't have more than that, right? And
Yeah,
you are recommending a record trigger flow with validation,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you expect user to create 21st user and then throw an error. Isn't there a better way to do that?
Mm, so based on the condition, we will not be able to disable that option from the contact record where they will enable that the contact as a user. I don't think there is a way to restrict that at that level, at the create level. When they create, that's when we will do a validation uh, and then show that error message.
Okay.
Any last questions? Because I see we're also at the time for the Q&A part.
No, I think
I think we're good.
All right. Shall we move straight into feedback then?
Yep. How do we want to do feedback? First of all, thank you. A real pleasure to review the solution. There's some really excellent work in there. I would actually, first of all, ask Surendra how you felt it went.
As expected, governance part, I'm still not very comfortable. I felt that when you were asking a lot of questions around that, I was going back and forth. So governance, yeah.
Well, what do you think was the strongest from your solution?
Uh, I'm thinking data model.
Data model is really good, like
Yeah,
really good. Um,
really good.
yeah, and it's rare that there's a flawless data model, so that you should be very, very pleased with yourself for what you produced there. The last few questions around record trigger flows, the order of which people would experience things. I think if we had spent a little more time thinking about the scenario, how we would solve it, you would found more questions around that. So when you initiate a JIT, when something happens, when a record happens, when do you want the feedback to the user? Does it really satisfy the end user requirement? I've got a feeling that we were just sort of playing around the edges there. So it depends on the makeup of the panel. Today, we were more concerned about governance, and especially the management of the system of record. So Hermione really dug into you on that. I really dug into you. Okay, you've got 4 countries. How are you going to do this? So for me, I would say you passed every section that you could have failed integration because of that system of record part. It's a could have because the general flow and setup of it was functional. So that's borderline. And governance, you would almost certainly have tripped over and been asked to come back on that one. But I don't want to be too negative because the solution work, the functional solution and the technical solution was great. Like there's definitely things we could have tripped you up on, but you should be very proud of that.
Okay.
How about you guys? What do you think?
I will go last. Hermione, please go.
Yeah, I have to say, particularly for Megaprint, it's very rare to see such a well-constructed data model. Like there weren't really any holes in it that I could think of immediately or that were apparent from here. Uh, the governance part was definitely the one that I think you maybe need to do a bit of digging on, especially the part on why you have the certain structures in the governance model, because it sort of felt like when you were answering the questions, you were just putting out key terms of what are traditionally in a project organization without giving like the details of how exactly they would work in this case, what would be their exact role in this scenario. They were more generic answers than answers specifically to this scenario. And that's I think what sets the because what the judges on the review board hate are boilerplate solutions, and they will see what is a boilerplate solution, and they will be onto you. So do make sure that you understand and can think about why each part of the governance part is there, and don't just put on a boilerplate solution. Like for the data migration as well, it was a bit of like generic data migration slide without understanding the nuances of the master data management that is in play here.
Sure. Thank you so much. I'll work on that for the next few days.
From my side, first of all, your data model was good. Even system landscape was okay. The really concerning was governance. Okay, so that's where you have to focus. Believe me, never provide an answer that COE will do this one. It will really bite you back. I got section rating because of those particular answers. So you have to be very specific which actor from your COE would be taking those particular ownership and would be doing that. So that is really required. Other parts are like integration, right? I felt that at few places certain details are missing on the integration when you are specifying, say, the pattern, what kind of authentication is, how, what kind of security it will be there, source and target system. In that way, you can avoid questions in that particular area.
Okay.
Apart from that, in solution also, when you're presenting, right, and alternate options are missing. You need to provide a rational record trigger flow. Why, right? So those particular details are missing. If you're proposing any app exchange, make sure that you have a detailed knowledge around that one. We didn't have that time, else I would have digged into the chargent. So make sure that if you're proposing chargent, which particular component from chargent would be taking care of particular solution. Yep, I think these are all the areas that you can work on. Rest of all looks really great. And yeah, wish you all the best for your board.
Thank you. And one question I have, Chandika. So the email spam, so how do we solve that email to case?
Now, for that, you will have an intermediate server, right, on which you will be forwarding your email. You can take care from there.
Okay, the exchange server somewhere we should have a control over.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
Yeah,
And
Surendra, you're gonna pass. But you just got to be more structured in terms of project and delivery organization. So have some models in your mind. You know, do a hub and spoke kind of COE? Look at those sort of COE models that you might apply, and apply context. So that is my one thing that itches my skin to get you out of that boilerplate, because we all have to learn boilerplates. Is when you get the scenario, you go, okay, it's that boilerplate that would apply here. That's great, but apply the context of the scenario. And if you make those sweet little changes, then the judges will think, okay, he's doing boilerplate, but it does apply. And then if you do Q&A, you at least have a chance to go through it, because perhaps you're rushed or you don't have time to really come up with a bespoke solution, which is almost impossible on a full scenario. There's going to be times where you do go, oh, this is the OAuth flow. Okay, but just make sure you apply the context. Oh, this is a standard global COE, and we roll out country by country. Well, yeah, that's great, but maybe you do Canada first because it's the smallest market, and you do the UK next because it's the highest grossing but the smallest number of users. Something like that. You really give them a strategy.
okay, thank you so much. Yeah, I'll
If
try
you
to
don't know,
do
you
that.
can assume. You can just assume that this would be our largest market, and then the judges probably have to take it at face value.
Okay,
Damn right. It's good advice.
thank you. Thanks for that.
And also a few more points. Sorry. So One thing that where I really saw the boilerplate was also in your LDV mitigations, and especially the skinny tables and the custom indices are something that sales really challenges. So yes, you can make the request with sales support to create those, but they will really challenge you on the justification. I can tell you that from experience. Another thing is that the justification the mitigations you provided there were all focused on read performance. But keep in mind that if you create a custom index, then every time you do an insert or also in some cases with updates, it will have to also update those indices. And that does also have an implication for the write performance. And there are also some other things you can think of there, like if you have a lot of formulas on your objects, especially if they are non-deterministic, like if they use date functions, for instance, or if they are cross-object formulas, they really impact your read performance badly on LDV objects. So that's also one thing that's worth mentioning. But yeah, make the distinction between read and write mitigations for LDV. And also look at the LDV threshold, because you mentioned LDV also on a few objects that were barely a million. I would say anything below 5 million typically isn't really LDV. And regarding the selectivity there's one object, the banner object, which had 20 million. Then just having selective queries and deterministic queries typically isn't enough. Like you can satisfy those requirements and still have your queries timeout. So there you need to be very selective, or maybe even do some chunking that you really limit the number of records returned in one go. Let's see, COE was already mentioned a couple of times as well, but I think especially in the area of change and transformation management and the training, it was lacking. Also, Chandrakant was pushing on the DevOps and the lack of fit with Copado for the other platforms. So typically, if an organization like this would already have something in place, right, like Azure DevOps or GitHub pipelines or some with Jenkins or something else. So maybe you can also leverage that for the other systems, like if it's already in place. And I think I would just make the assumption that there must be something in place already, because I've been developing those systems for years already.
Okay.
And with a couple integrations, I think you have to be careful with your phrasing, because not sure which one it was again, but with one integration, you meant the response, but you said callback. And then you would actually have like a separate pattern that would be like fire and forget, and then the target system actually calling back on its own into the source system that you initiated from, but was actually a request reply that you meant. So be careful how you phrase it, that you don't accidentally make it two separate patterns instead of one end-to-end pattern.
Okay. I think I did.
Let's see, what's the other one? Oh yeah, and there was one with the data model. You mentioned at some point an account-to-account relationship, which you used for sharing sets to make some records available. But I wasn't sure what you meant with that. Like, was that a self-join relationship on accounts, or was that like a junction object that joins two
Yeah,
accounts?
it's a relationship between two accounts. We can create just like ACR, we can link account to account relationships, and there is separate sharing rules for that.
But how do you do account to account with ACR?
No, not ACR, similar pattern,
yeah,
right?
it's
So we
similar.
can relate
Like you
two
can,
accounts using that relationship. And based on the relationship, we can we can create a sharing rules. That's a separate, it's not part of the standard sharing, it's account to account sharing
Okay,
relationships. Rules, there is separate rules.
all right. Might have missed that
Thank you.
myself then.
Cool. Surendra, I've shared my scores for each area. I have a sort of standard rubric that I break things down into based on. I was at Salesforce for just over 12 years. I got my CTA in 2012, so I've done this a couple of times. So you've got a basic scoring. It's nothing that we haven't said here, but if you want to have a look and you want to share it with Kid or anybody else that was on the session today, and use it with them and get feedback, you're more than welcome. I just don't have everyone's email, so I'll leave it with you.
Sure.
Yeah, we have a couple of Telegram groups for that as well, Matt, that we use for the other group
Right.
communications. So I can share
very
there.
sophisticated.
Yeah.
Thank you, judges, for taking time and judging and providing valuable feedback at the crucial time. I have only 4-5 days. I'll try to incorporate all these week moments. Thank you so
And
Sure.
much.
don't forget to also take some rest though. Like you you don't want to keep studying to the very last second, I would say, and then be completely burned out at your review board. So that's one tip
Yeah.
that Seb always gave. Like make sure you're also rested when you go to the board. All right, smile for the camera. 3, 2, 1. Let's see. Yeah, it looks nice. Oh wait, I have a ridiculous smile.
Always takes
Way
two.
too
Always
exaggerated.
takes two.
No, it looks good. All set. All right, then let's leave it at this. And thank you all for joining us this meetup. And
Thank
see you
you.
all next
Thank
time,
you.
which will
Fun.
be
Thank you for having me.
on the 18th. We'll have Joanne present universal safety.